You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Far away is the gym?
It's pretty far because we're recording Lando. We're on Out of the Blank.
But we're Dick Time,
No, stop throwing your segments in these areas.
Wrong podcast. Podcast.
This is a different podcast.
Hey man, I think your listeners would appreciate the Dick Time, Lando. Yeah,
it's look. They don't need that disease in their head right now. Okay,
if they want it.
They're trying to be
Sithtalkers.
That's the whole thing. I was walking all the way home, and that's the only thing I could think of the whole entire time. That literally, I'm trying to listen to a podcast, and I keep just singing in my head over and over and over again.
It's catchy, man. So, hey, any Out of the Blank listeners out there, check out Sithtalkers, a Star Wars podcast, and you'll get this catchy segment song caught in your, oh God, I can't even fucking talk. It's been a long day, man. Stuck in your head, and it's called Dick Time with Lando.
Do you think, all right, so this is actually a pretty weird question. I've always wondered what made music kind of so popular, and I realized that there's a key, I guess, pitch or tone between a certain number of decibels that is reactive into our brain that makes a song so catchy and gets stuck into your head. And I learned that now with all the new songs that are coming out nowadays, like the popular chart hits, the ones that are like one-hit wonders, the ones that quickly get stuck in your head, you're like, why do I keep singing Old Town Road? Is because the studio has found what that is, and they use that template on every major song. So now they're not even pumping out music to last anymore. They're just pumping out music to hit the charts for a good month or so and then go out.
Yeah, dude, it's called Nickelback. Your favorite fucking band that I hate.
Why does everyone shit on Nickelback? It is not that bad. Yeah, everybody knows what Photograph, and everybody knows every time they look at it, it makes them laugh.
Let me grab your Nickelback CD. Just mail it to me.
So I can look like a member of Nickelback.
I can pull my pants down and shit on it, put it in a fucking FedEx envelope, and FedEx back to you. Okay? Because then the album will probably be better.
But then you'd have to hand it to somebody because technically you work with FedEx.
I do.
So you'd be handling your own shit.
That's right. I do handle my shit.
There you go.
But no, man, to your point, it's funny, man, right? Because there's only so many notes, right? In music, right? There's A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Every American dog goes to bed early.
I mean, that is it. And that's why there's so many songs that sound similar, man. There's only so many notes. But you're right, dude. John Cougar Mellencamp, Nickelback, dude, Green Day, right? Offspring, like all these bands and all these artists, right? You know, they just use those same catchy, look, man, dude, you want me to go get my acoustic guitar? I can go get it and
do that. You don't be that guy. Don't
three-note catchy song for you. No, I'm just saying, right? That's all you need.
Do not be the guy that pulls out the guitar at a party, doesn't know how to really play it, but
I know how to play it.
But knows the basic chords where everyone's like, he's so good. I'm like, he's playing the same shit over and over again.
That's what I'm telling you. I can grab my guitar and play D, C, G and come up with a nice catchy song, man.
And
it's
you
really
just
simple.
Slays ass too. There's always the guitar guy. There's always a guitar guy at the party. I swear, every time I literally show up, I'm like, all right, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Someone's pulling out an acoustic guitar in exactly 2 hours from now once he's had one.
I'll tell you, I have a funny story about a guy with an acoustic guitar. When I was a teenager, I went to this is when I belonged to a youth group, and it was a non-denominational church youth group. I don't know why I had to throw that in there, but it was just a non-denominational church. And we went to this concert called Ichthus. And basically Ichthus was like Woodstock for Christian music. So it was pretty cool, man. And there was this guy on the side of the road or the sidewalk or whatever, and had an acoustic guitar, had his case out there, people throwing money in it. And dude, it's catchy, man. And his song DGC, and it was, let's make pizza and not nuclear bombs. Let's make pizza and not nuclear bombs. That's exactly how he sounded. Dude, and I bought one of his singles, his cassette singles back in the day, and supported him. And yeah, I don't know why I thought of it, but that song is.
I think that's pretty interesting because when I went to Hawaii, they had a flea market and there was all these how you get the wannabe artists, like the guys that are producing their own CDs, but sometimes you get a CD and they're like, yo, this is my tape. Yo, listen to it. It's gonna make it's going to make your life change. And I was like, okay. So I was looking at flea markets and there were all these these kind of people just trying to pump out their EPs, which was interesting. And then when I came back home and was listening to some, I'm like, wow, they're actually really, really good. And some dude, when I was a jet ski guide, actually tipped me with his EP. His name was Big Puff Daddy. And
wait a minute. Is this a spin off Puff Daddy?
Just listen. He on the front cover, it's this really shitty wrapped, looked like he grabbed saran wrap and then wrapped it. And it literally was a tequila bottle and it was an ass on top of the tequila bottle. And only question I had to ask was, did the full force of the tequila bottle, did you actually sit on it or are you just hovering over on top of it? My buddy's like, why would you? Why? He's like, throw it in the trash. I'm like, well, we have to listen to it. And he's like, dude, we just worked our ass off doing jet skis. And the last thing I want to do is listen to Big Puff Daddy in my car. I'm like, well, look, we didn't make out with any tips today. We made $375. I'm going to play this because maybe this is the gold mine here. So we put it in. Hold on. We put it in the car. And the first song is, I think it's called Queen of, oh God, I can't remember what the last part. It starts with a D, Queen of Damsels or something. It was something really it sounded punky, but you put it in, it was, I swear to God, it was trash. I'm sorry.
That goes to my point. That's like someone coming up to you, be like, "Hey man, what tape? What music do you have in your car right now?" And you have to go, big Puff Daddy.
It's I was. My buddy's like, "Yeah, let's keep the windows up and let's keep the volume on 7." I was like, "Dude, it's funny bad though. It's have you ever seen Krispy Kreme? The dude that did the Daniel Tosh.
Krispy Kreme, dude, I love those donuts. We used to have them here in Indiana, and now they're all gone.
Oh Jesus! Donuts are disgusting, dude.
I haven't had donuts in over 2 years, mind you.
I haven't had donuts in 4 years. I remember I used to be in love with the freaking dark chocolate, the all chocolate ones, and then I was just like, I wonder what brown sugar tasted like. Changed my life.
What's wrong with brown sugar? Everybody needs a little brown sugar.
I never even thought. I was like, I like chocolate. And I don't want to go out of my comfort zone. And then one day, my dad's like, didn't have chocolate. So why don't you try the brown sugar? I'm like, okay. So I tried the brown sugar. But no, I've never been a huge donut fan. All the people are like, I want the cream only. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, I just like the creams. They sit there and suck on it like a vampire. I'm like, you're an animal. You're an animal.
Speaking of cream, and switch over to some Dunkin' Donuts, man. They fucking jip you on because I was a huge fan of the chocolate cream filled donuts, but Dunkin' Donuts, I don't know, here in Indiana, man, they just put a fucking dime size portion, and then the rest is just all powder sugar fucking donut. So
that's mostly what life is. It's just kind of false hopes and dreams.
That's a good metaphor for life.
It is.
You get to the inside where all the good gooey stuff is, and you got a dime size portion.
It's you hit your good years when you're in your 40s is your most memorable moments.
Yeah, because right, dude. I'm turning 42 in a couple weeks, and this is the best time of my life.
Well, it's not the best time, but it's the prime moments you really remember and take hold because now you have kids and now you have all these wonderful things. It's
I have adults.
Yeah, exactly. But it's the bundle. That's the prime thing of happiness, I would say. When you're in your 20s, it's like being young. It's your invincibility stages. You know what I mean? You can get hit by a fucking car. Next thing you know, you can get up the next day and go to work.
I don't think so, my friend. Because listen, I think it's all about your state of mind, right? So because like I said, I'll be 42 in a couple weeks, and I feel like I'm in like the best shape, the best condition for physically, like for my body.
Did
I
I
feel
not
I'm the
say
best.
this? Did I not say this was your prime time? You're at the jelly filled part right now.
But I've had to work hard at it, right? So yeah, back in my 20s, dude, I fucking run, fucking down the fucking sidewalk, and I'd be fucking like on the floor dying. So
because you probably drank and you probably did a bunch of stupid.
I did not.
Then why the hell were you that out of shape?
Because I never, dude. I look. So of course,
I just walked 10 miles unprepared in the dark, and the only thing that got my ass home quicker was the fact I was wearing all black and it was night. And I know a bunch of stories about how sketchy kids get hit by cars mistakenly because they couldn't be seen. Bullshit. The people just swerve off like you do when you see a deer. You're like, I'm gonna hit that fucker real quick. And then,
if I would have saw you on the fucking street and on the side of the road jogging at nighttime, I would have drove by and said, "What the fuck is this motherfucker doing?"
And I would have said, "Can I get a ride?" But apparently nobody picks up hitchhikers anymore.
I told you to Uber. I told you to fucking
I'm not
Uber.
spending money on Uber. That's a false pipe dream. It's just the government.
Okay. But it would have got you home. Oh, hold on. Let me bring some some self-righteousness in here, right? We were talking about this earlier before we did my podcast. You could have Ubered. You could have had a real conversation with a complete stranger.
No, they don't give you conversation.
Oh, come on.
They don't give you conversation. They give you what you want, so you'll give them that 5-star rating. I said, I swear to God.
What's that do for?
Dude, I want to design an app, okay? Because all right, so Uber, you can leave reviews, you can leave 5-star ratings. Did you know that there's a concept idea, or you can maybe look for a house that has a bathroom for you to shit in?
Shut the fuck up.
So it's an app. Now you look on this app, what's the nearest toilet near you? So you don't want to go to a gas station or something like my Royal Farms. There's been a plunger, it's a mop. It's been shoved in the toilet for probably 2 months now. Some dude was like, I ain't dealing with this, and just chucked it right in there. So every time I go in there, I'm like, can't go poop here. And so I'm wondering if you had an app that would tell you the closest nearest location, and it has pictures of the bathroom. And then when you walk in, there's like a little guy in a tuxedo. Like, would you like some spray? Maybe something to, refresh the room, or maybe something before you go out into the world smelling like complete ass. And I'm like, I'd like an after dinner mint. Yes.
Whatever, man, dude. I'm more caveman, right? So like, fuck that fucking bullshit. Fuck your app. Fuck that. I'm going to fucking just stop on the side of the road, go into the bush and fucking piss, or go to the fuck. And then dude leaves. I'm telling you, man, I did it as a kid. I did it as a kid.
But with all the stuff going on in the world,
all right, you can't do that anymore.
No. Where society is building up so many ways, there's no more trees to wipe your ass with. You're gonna have to reach for your freaking neighbor's mail and start just looking at his junk mail. Like, I'm gonna have to use this People's magazine that he obviously doesn't read. Oh, what's he got a subscription to Birds? Okay, well, let me use this.
Hey, that's illegal, by the way. You can't fuck with people's mail. So
yeah,
that's
but
a federal offense, my friend.
If you explain to a cop, I had to shit, so I grabbed his junk mail, I'm pretty sure he's going to be like, I understand.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm just sure fucking Sergeant Joe Smith, he'll completely understand that.
Sergeant Joe Smith, he's got what? He's got the most American names, Joe and Smith.
That's how I come up with names. FYI, for like when I come up with stormtrooper names for my podcast, I use the most generic names. Exactly. Stormtrooper Joe, Stormtrooper Mark. I just try to, that's like my thing. Generic names are perfect.
Do you think, like, if you were a foreigner coming over and trying to get a job and you had like a really unique name and you were trying to get into the government, that you would get a new name? Like, you would go under a different name? Like, I don't think the government or the police force would hire on the basis of if you're going to join an anti-terrorism group and in the government or some type of security force system, and your name was like Rakahim Shamadov or something, do you think they would look at that and be like, nah, that's not happening here?
They're going to look at me and be like, from now on,
your name is fucking Blaze McTaserson.
That'd be awesome.
Exactly. So does he roll with that, or does he do a discrimination thing?
Well, I would roll with it, dude. Do you know how cool it'd be to have the name Blaze? and have it like on your fucking name tag.
Is this like the
you,
movie Dodgeball where there's like 10 people and they're like, this is Blazer, this is Azer, this is Chaser.
Awesome. I'll be like, hey, Joe, come here. I need you to meet our new employee. This is Blaze. I'll be like, hey, I'm Blaze. Nice to meet you.
Well, you named your kids really good you gave your kids very good nicknames that went with like the Star Wars thing.
Well, yeah, because my son, his name is Anakin, and he has no nickname. You would just call him Anakin. But my daughter, she's got the normal name, Annabella, and we call her Anna. So she go like me, Michael, Mike. I don't go by Michael. Only people in my family call me Michael.
Okay, Michael.
Yeah, fuck you. So
I thought we were family. I was like the third cousin that you kept in the basement, like Goonies.
You're fucking sloth.
Toss him some shit. We got a Cyclops that lives in the basement.
Rocky Road. Love it, man.
I see, because it's weird, because like I was always wondering, like, I don't know if I would want to have kids, but a lot of people are like, when do you think of the name? Like, don't you think it's a little bit awkward? Like if you run into somebody and they're like 20 years old, like, what's your name? Like, my parents haven't decided yet. It's like, well, fuck, like, how have you been getting through life? It's like, we're waiting on the name. We want him to feel his name. And like, what do you mean you want him to feel his name? Like, he'll know what his name is. I'm like, but if you call somebody their name, like looking at you look like a Mike. Looking at me, I look like a Robbie.
But that's all you know, right?
But exactly. But it's like, but if it matches the face. So I'm wondering, is there like, from when you're a child, does your brain naturally kind of...
Okay. So some people go by their middle name. So let's do this with us, right? So you call me Thomas or Tom. Do I look like a Thomas? Do I look like a Tom?
You don't look like a train at all.
There you Oh man, my kids love that shit when they were younger. Oh yeah. What's your middle name?
I don't like saying my middle name.
Oh my fucking God. Get over it. Fucking just say it.
I'll let you guess it.
Oh no, I'm not fucking doing this fucking bullshit.
I'm not doing this on the internet for sure. That's one thing. I get sensitive about my middle name.
Why? What's the big fucking deal?
Because it's an old ass name.
Who
and it's
cares?
like,
Dude,
I don't
my
even
fucking name. I have two of the most common fucking names. Michael Thomas. Good fucking Christ.
Do you know how to spell your middle name?
THOMAS, motherfucker.
Okay,
Jesus.
I don't know how to spell my middle name.
Well, come on, man.
I swear to God, I don't know how to spell my middle name.
All right, look, here, I'll deviate a little bit and I'll go to my daughter's.
Starts with an S.
Yeah, fucking shit stick. There you go. So
it is shit stick. My first name was going to be Shit, but it was taken in my family, so they'd have to call me Little Shit.
Anyways, on to
wait, time out. Hold on. I have a great story now. My grandpa. Okay, so my grandma has a little step stool that I used as a kid, and she called it Robbie. Uh-huh. And so my name's Robbie. So I pointed out, I was like, hey, like the stool's name is Robbie. That's my name. It's like two Robbies. And my grandpa just comes in out of nowhere. I swear to God, I don't know if I pissed him off earlier in the day. And he goes, yeah, she's got another one. It's a toilet. It's named Robbie too. And just like that toilet and you're both full of shit. And ended it.
Boots.
Yeah. And I just looked at him like, why? But he just looked at me and goes, and then like walks off. I'm like, he just Rogan laughed and left me here.
He basically called you out, telling you, what kind of person you would become. Fucking someone who's full of shit.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm just teasing. But back to my daughter's name, really quickly here. Her name is so long. So when she had to do like the I-step and all the, the forms at school where you have to pencil in your name and there's so many boxes for it, she can't fit her entire name because it's so long. So her full name is like Annabella Elizabeth Ferrando. You know how fucking long that is? Like fucking cursed her with a name that's like fucking so long you can't fucking even put it on your I-step exams and shit.
I remember my teacher, when I got in trouble, he'd make me write my first and last name over and over again 100 times.
Did he make you write your middle name? What is it?
He did make me write my middle name, but I literally told him in the beginning, I said, I don't know how to spell my middle name.
What was
And
your middle name again? Because I remember you saying it.
I never said it. You can't do some reverse psychology shit. Try that.
Oh.
I thought I let you guess it. It starts with an S. But I was like, I can't spell my middle name. And he looked at me like, if you don't do it, I'm not handling this anymore. You're going to leave my class. And I said, then I have to leave your class because I legit don't know how to spell my middle name. And when I left, he called the principal, and the principal called my house. My mom literally goes, he can't spell his middle name.
I mean, what is it, like fucking Swasaski or Swasasko?
No, it's just it's long and old, and I never even took the time to take care of it.
Old, right? So I'm trying to think of like an old name, and it is like a proper name, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you lived back in like
Samsonite.
What if we like Superman's third cousin?
That's kryptonite.
Yeah, but you said mix like Sam with it, like Sam and kryptonite. Samson. It sounds like a chemical compound.
That's an old. It's okay. So is it like a noble sounding name, like
like Beethoven's Day,
like you know?
I just said Beethoven's Day. If that doesn't give it away, then you're an idiot.
Yeah, I'm a fucking idiot. There you go.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I love you.
I love you too.
Okay. It's also a popular Disney character.
Oh, fuck.
An older Disney film, though, not one of the newer ones.
Like how old? Like back in the 50s or 60s?
No, like around my time period.
Okay.
Like when I was a child. So
when
probably
you were a child. So we're talking like 90s then, right?
Yeah.
80s. Well, I'm an 80s child. There's no way you can be an 80s child.
I could be.
No, you can't.
Time travel.
No. Oh my God. Hold on.
Using that Samsonite traveling back in time.
Yeah, I don't know. So Disney animated movie begins with an S. Yeah, I don't fucking know, man.
Regis Philbin. Told you I didn't know how to spell it.
Yeah, man, got my like head like spinning and shit thinking about it.
I mean, but the fact is though, like if you look at names, like we just immediately like even our ears get in tune to that sound and we get responsive to it. It's like watching a dog. Like, you know, when you're teaching a dog their name and they finally learn it and they learn how to respond from that. Now, this is always a theory I thought of. Do dogs actually hear what we're saying, like the words we're speaking, or do they just hear the noises we make?
Okay. So yeah, look, dogs, it's all about repetition. Right. And that's all it is. It's getting into the what's the word I'm looking for? Because I say it all the time for myself, a routine. Right. That's what it is about. Because I just got a new dog not too long ago. I have like 3 dogs. So, but Kira, my newest dog, yeah, she's already caught on to things. Even something as simple, when I go to my second job, I go up to her and I said, okay, you're going to go into Anakin's room now. She walks right up to his bedroom, right in front of the door, and waits for me to open the door for her to go in. It's routine every day.
But does he understand actually what the words you're saying is, or is it? What I'm trying to think is like when they hear us talk, are they just hearing the pitch and then matching what that means to do? Because if you think about it, like is it like Charlie Brown where it's like wah 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 wah?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Wah 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 wah.
Yeah, like is it like that? Like when you say sit and then you say shit, it sounds so similar. That's why they sit when they shit too. Like if you say like, don't take a shit and they go, what? And they sit, you know, like, are they just hearing that it or that pitch that comes out? Like when you say, no, or when you yell, they understand it's a bad pitch. Like you're used to it being a bad pitch.
Yeah. I don't know. Cause remember dogs can hear like super better than we can. Right. So, it's gotta be about the pitch or the tone. Right. And like I said, I just think it's about being repetitive because you're saying the same thing to them over and over and over again. And then finally something clicks in their brain to be like, oh, when I hear this word, I sit the fuck down.
Have you ever actually tried a dog whistle out?
No.
I tried a dog whistle out and I was blowing it really hard. And I was
nothing comes out.
Yeah.
Like no sound.
I was like, nothing. That's what I thought. And then I was like, nothing's coming out. Well, at the time, my grandparents had a Dalmatian. And he fucking busted in through the door and flipped shit.
No.
We up against the wall.
No, like, that's our human ears can't hear the sound. That's what I'm saying. Only the dog can hear the whistle. Our human ears can't even hear it.
Yeah, somebody told me I didn't believe them, and I started blowing into that whistle like a damn steam engine or a train.
Yeah, that's like saying you can hear the ocean, right in a fucking big fucking seashell or whatever the fucking called, and you can. I grew up by the ocean in Massachusetts.
I live by the ocean. I mean,
you
I picked
can
up
fucking hear the ocean.
You just hear white noise. It's not really the ocean.
It's the it's the fucking ocean.
But that's a concept idea, though. Can a thing or an item get stained with the kind of sound of an area if it's been there long enough? Like if you pull, like we talk about people and like voices and like experiences, those are all imprinting onto your head. Your thoughts are all from what you've developed through life. So technically that's like an echo or like, it's a cool concept. So stick with me on this. When you pick up a shell, like let's say it's been near the ocean for 30 something years, you pick it up and then you hold it up to your ear. Is it just white noise, or is there an actual sound of an ocean that, or similarities to it, that holds it like a memory, that holds it like an imprint onto the inside of the shell? So that sound, that feeling or whatever it is hooked onto that shell like an attachment.
Okay, so and I'm going to answer this. Yes, it is the ocean sound, because the shell has been right next to the ocean. You get that legit ocean sound, ocean feel, and it fills your body like you're sitting like right in front of the ocean. Look, go into a fucking store where they just fucking sell them on the shelf. You pick it up and you put it to your ear. That's fucking white noise or whatever.
But I hear countless people say they can hear the ocean out of a shell that was manufactured in a factory.
No. I agree with you. Like it's just fucking white noise with something that's like on a shelf. If you legit pick one up off of an ocean floor right next to the ocean, that is true ocean sound because it's absorbed in the shell. I honestly believe that.
You do believe this?
Hell yeah. Oh, fuck, dude. You believe in Bigfoot, for Christ's sake. I mean, so you mean to tell me you can't believe in sound?
Hey, there's a big difference between Bigfoot.
There's not.
And a shell. You are just a shell of a man. Bigfoot is the protector of the woods.
Okay, and the Loch Ness Monster, UFOs, blah, 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 blah. But
I'm not saying I believe. I'm just saying I'm open-minded. Am I saying that Bigfoot is real? I have no clue, but I'm saying there's a large possibility that there's a species of ape out there, considering that from two different reported locations, such as North America and up in like near China and everything of that sort. They have two distinctive characteristics that are somewhat similar to a giant species of hominid ape. So I'm saying, is it maybe one giant creature that protects the earth? That's a cool concept, but probably not. But is it a species? Yes. This is why I believe people come from apes. All right. So listen.
Listen.
Let me say this real quick. Okay. Hang on a second. I only thought of this on one concept. I went to the zoo with my grandparents and I watched a monkey. Okay. We were sitting there watching a little chimpanzee run around the little whatever play area, the torture chamber, whatever you want to call it. And they dropped a stuffed animal in there. Now, this monkey, first thing it did was pick it up, rip its head off, take the stuffed animal, and start masturbating with it. We came from apes. And I brought this up at work. And the one guy's like, "Are you an idiot?" I'm like, is it true? Probably not. But is it funny to think of when that comes to that similarity? And he goes, I don't know. I'm like, dude, if you were an ape and you thought like an ape, or you had the brain mentality of an ape, if you would have grabbed a stuffed animal and you were a guy, the first thing you would have did was start masturbating with it. He goes, I don't think so. Then this is just around Halloween time. We're having a pumpkin carving contest at work. A girl brought in a pumpkin for our housekeeping staff or our housekeeping staff. So we're doing a competition against all the staff groups. She made a maid, but she carved out tits for the maid. And immediately the guy looks down, his name is Rico, looked down, saw the tits and goes, I think there is something to your ape theory. Because I'm like, exactly. My point is proven.
It's like seeing animated characters with big tits. The chick from Who Framed Roger, when I was a kid, the chick from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So that didn't give you a boner. Hello.
But it's
right.
if you correlate any of our basic human functions or primal instincts, they all correlate with other animals' primal instincts. It doesn't matter about our genetic code being in relation, but when it comes to a guy, there is always a physical male superiority aspect. Even though it might not be the main thing on your mind, it is a gloss over point. It's the reason why at any point you have a slight thought about what happens if something between a conversation or something between an interaction with another guy, something goes wrong, who would overpower who? You don't think about it very long, but it pops up into your head because there's a primal aspect in men to want to be more dominant, to want to show their physical superiority. Now, listen, with females, it's more of a nurturing aspect. They have that nurture side to them. I'm just saying it's a questionable concept, dude. I mean, if you look at it, there are these primal traits about us because at one point it was an uneducated kind of world we were living in, and these were the basic functions. We're just so hip to the way we live now that those primal functions have been discategorized or not really thrown into key anymore.
Yeah, but you're skating on thin ice, my friend, right? Because of the women's movement, right? The Me Too movement.
Yeah, but
right?
that doesn't mean that I'm subjecting them to be like that. I'm just saying there's an inherent base ability for caring. It doesn't mean about being a stay-at-home mom. It means about an innate caring for individuals rather than showing aggressive anger, where in a guy, their primal default characteristic is to show dominance and to show protective instincts. When a mother does it or a woman does it in a much different way, which is showing a loving side, more empathy. That's why when a guy is considered sensitive, it's considered they have more empathy. They're the ones that would be in a hunter-gatherer society would be the gatherers, even though most males were hunters, because there's a primal aspect in guys to go and feed for the village. I'm not saying this is all true. I'm just saying there has been a little bit of evidence on it, and it should stay open-minded to consideration because, you know me, I like to stay open-minded to all possible things.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's like very, very old school thinking, right? Like, yeah, the guy goes to work, supports the family, the woman stays home, takes care of the kids, takes care of the house, right? Actually, it's not too far off from religion, right? In Christianity, like religion pretty much says that is for the male to be dominant, right? And to the woman to follow the male. I mean, like I said, you want to get to, that's what I'm saying. So dude, it's a very crazy subject, right? Because of all these big women's movements, the Me Too movements. But then like, if you have people that are religious, religion tells you that the woman is supposed to follow the man and the man is in charge of the household. And yeah, like I said, dude, you're really swimming in shallow water with this. So what, I mean, for me, like, I don't give a fuck, right? I think it's cool that women have strong personalities.
I do too. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying,
because like with me, I have like traits on both sides, right? So I have like real dominant traits, and then I have real fucking sensitive traits. That's what I'm saying. But you're like, oh, you're like a woman. Well,
no, I'm not saying you're like a woman at all. I'm saying that's the concept of that would make you more sensitive in a deemed society is what I'm saying. See, I think the guys that we're seeing nowadays that have more sensitivity. I'm a sensitive guy. I'm not afraid to shed a tear. If I bump my toe while watering my spice garden or something. But I'm saying it's not about being dominant. It's about that there are these primal instincts in us all, but there are capabilities and characteristics that do show, like just through recorded history of how man has grown. I think we're becoming in a more adaptive age. You're starting to see a little bit less empathy, to be honest with you, but there are certain characters now that are becoming more empathetic. Certain individuals.
Well, we're all becoming more empathetic.
That's not always true.
We're all fucking pussies now.
That's not empathy. That's not empathy.
I understand that.
Empathy is caring for another individual. We're not doing that anymore.
Which is shrinking, right?
But we're all being too sensitive when it comes to things we shouldn't be sensitive about.
Yes, people are less empathetic, but they're more sensitive, right, about anything like anymore.
Well, because we were constantly on a verge of feeling attacked.
Well, everybody feels attacked, dude. What you just said can feel like an attack to somebody, even though it was just your opinion. Even though it was just your opinion about, just a male being dominant and a female being more sensitive and more nurturing and this and that. Somebody can take that soundbite, right? Cut it, paste it, and fucking attack you on it. Seriously, like that's how today's society is. So
I'll accept it with nothing but love and fistfuls of Doritos.
But that's the problem with today's society is the oversensitivity, and everybody's feelings are hurt about every single thing that happens.
Would it just be safer to live in the Matrix?
Oh, we're all just plugged in.
Honestly, someone brought up a really good point. Like maybe we're already living in the Matrix. We're living in a kind of a fundamental world. It seems like everything's structured to the 9 to 5s. And you get those random like deja vu and that stuff like that we chalk up to like some type of like hormonal or paranormal thing. But what happens to say if that's not a glitch in our system? Like, have you seen the Rick and Morty episode where they're inside their reality? They're really in a dream. They're in a Matrix like system that these aliens have them on a ship, and they're like, people are like randomly, like you see a guy throw a ball, then it looks like he glitches and comes back and throws it again. It's like, what just happened? Did anybody notice that? Like a bird just stopped in midair, went back, and then went forward again and started going normal.
It's in the Matrix, right? The black cat crosses the doorway, and then you can see the code on it, and then it passes again, and Neo's like, whoa, deja vu, right? So I don't know if we are in the Matrix. I want to be Neo. I want to be able to fucking fly.
Would that make it like lucid dreaming when you figure out you're in a dream and then you end up being able to do whatever you want?
Well, I guess that's the point. And what's funny about this topic, right? You talk about people having like psychic ability or this kind of ability, and just certain people can reach certain aspects of their brain that other people can't reach, or they can tap into things in their brain that other people can't tap into. The Matrix would be like that, right? So the more you would be able to tap in to the Matrix, the more I think you'd be able to bend the Matrix your way. But it would only be a select few people, because those would be the only people that would be able to reach it like in their brain, right?
I feel like if you start questioning too much, you start questioning a lot more, and then eventually you end up freaking yourself out to where you start getting like a mental schizophrenia where you feel like the world is all against you.
And then they got to pull you out, right? Like they did with Neo. Then they got to unplug you. They got to pull you out of the Matrix.
You hit a critical point, and then some dude just wakes you up, slaps you in the face like, fuck, man, you went too deep. And I'm like, shit, you gave me a book on conspiracies. I'm going to read it.
And what's funny about that is if it is like the Matrix, the robots gave you that book on conspiracies, right? Who are controlling the Matrix. Because in the Matrix, the robots are controlling the Matrix. So they're the ones that gave you the conspiracy to think the Matrix is a conspiracy.
Maybe like the world right now, we're just slow rolling into like a Matrix society, because it seems like nowadays we're hitting to a point where like it seems like we are being run by robots.
Look, man, there's people out there that, you think about like, will we ever have robots like in our households and like this and that? And will the robots ever take over and this and that? But there's people out there, because there's a guy that works in our warehouse where I work at my job. I am not exactly. Wait. No, hold on.
Your warehouse that you work, and that's
so
your job.
I don't work in the warehouse. So my job, a gentleman who works in the warehouse, this is his belief.
I know, but you said where you work, and then you were like,
yes.
My job, and I was like, yeah, but that's usually where you work is your job.
All right, shut the fuck up. So he believes the earth is flat. Dude,
okay.
Through and through. It doesn't matter like how you you try to open his mind and be like, well, what about this? What about this? No. He's going to try to convince you, no, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the earth is truly flat. And that's what he believes to his core. So that's what I'm saying, dude.
What's his evidence?
Got me.
Exactly. But the thing is, you got to see it from his perspective too. Have you ever been full on belief of something, and then next thing you know, it's like someone tries to shatter it?
No, but we have to be
Well, listen though, have you ever
minded to
exactly
other things, right?
I'm open-minded to the flat Earth theory. I think their evidence comes on the basis of that the fact that every time they get a picture from outer space, it's never a full pano shot of the Earth. It's just like one side and then there's another side because you can't do a pano shot in space because it's just too much mass.
So the moon landing was filmed.
Honestly, that is a really weird theory that I'm actually starting to think. I don't think on the fact, if you kind of hear me out here, it's not that the moon landing was fake. It's the concept of that maybe we didn't reach it when we said we reached it. You know what I'm saying?
We staged it just to make it seem
staged it, and then as a propaganda act was like, hey, guys, we already made it to the moon. And then Russia's like, well, fuck. Well, no, it's not worth any more time trying to get there as fast as we can. We can just take our sweet time and get there. And then eventually we finally actually did make it, but we just never released that because we were like, we don't need to tell them we made it when we already did, but we can't be like, hey, we're just kidding. April Fools. Haha. No, I say there's a little bit of kind of rolling speed towards that. I think that's a good point to bring up. Do I necessarily believe it? No, but I'm saying with a lot of stuff the government does, you look at all past experiments, all these things, is it out of the realm of possibilities? No.
Yeah, man. Because if you tell me Apollo 13 is not real, I'm going to start crying right now because Tom Hanks was unbelievable in that movie.
Yeah, Tom Hanks was the real astronaut there.
I mean, but they went to the moon and they, slingshot around the moon to come back to Earth. So they just never landed on the moon.
That's always scared me. A lot of people are like, oh, you know how awesome it would be to go into space? I'm like, not really, because you know how much therapy you have to go through when you get back down here on Earth?
Well, imagine being in that circumstance where your fucking spaceship blows up and it took every single lucky circumstance just to make it back home.
Well,
right? Running out of air and this and that.
I'm not even talking about that circumstance. I'm just talking about going to space in general. Like, do you know what those astronauts have to go through when they come back down to Earth? Because usually they spend a large, significant amount of time up in outer space, whether it's 6 months to a year or 2 years or 3 years. They just stay up at a space station or something. Well, your bones, they adapt to a different form of gravity. So actually, when they come down here, they have to do much like with divers. They have to go into a decompression chamber because they can actually get the bends. They can start to get a bunch of things wrong with them. See, this is really, really weird a concept when it comes to deep diving, which I started getting kind of interested in, not doing it myself, but just kind of the way our bodies react to just different stimulants. There's a documentary I actually looked up called it's like somewhere in my browsing history on Netflix after comedy special, murder, comedy special, murder. And then it's like documentary and then something with Bill Nye, because I like to throw that in there. But it's called dino fish. So there was actually a species of fish that was founded back in the age like now, but it's from the dinosaur era, 600 million years old. It was recorded. You know the reason why it survived so long?
Well, we can't get to the bottom. Probably can't get down there, right?
Time passage down there is slower. So deep in the water, time passes it might pass the same, but it doesn't feel like it. Because there's no sunlight, you can't tell anything. Your body can't react to know what time of day it is, can't know the passage of time. But it's so the environmental acoustics, all these things down there are different. The weather is different. Their skin doesn't get, age as quickly. It's the weirdest concept. And the only reason we found out about it was because a bunch of Somalian pirates were throwing dynamite into the water and started blowing up all this fucking environment and shit. Next thing you know, these things just started floating to the surface.
Crazy. It's like going in the opposite direction. It's like climbing Mount Everest or something. Dude, right? Because when you go up, same thing. It's a different environment, right? Dude, NFL, football games, NFL games, it's different kicking a field goal at Denver, right? In the Denver stadium.
Yeah, a lot of those guys are wearing masks because they can't breathe.
Dude, exactly. Because the air's thin, right? So, because the land is higher, you're higher altitude. So, yeah, so go the opposite direction, go down in the ocean, where, like I said, where we can't even reach the bottom of some parts of the ocean. And like I've heard on several of your podcasts, yeah, we don't know what the fuck is down there. Yeah. Is there fucking some crazy fucking dinosaur fish, and absolutely there's probably some fucked up things down there.
Dude, I'm about to give it away, but under the sea.
Oh my God.
Under the sea.
Little Mermaid.
I just gave you the answer to my middle name.
So, in which I've probably seen that movie like once, like 20 years ago. So
Under the sea.
I know Ariel, Ursula, and that's about it.
And I said it started.
So I
said it started with an S. And
so now I'm
he's
gonna look
in
it up.
that movie. Well,
Right.
now, yeah, but it is true though, when you look at all like the things, but I just think that's crazy that your body has to adjust after it's been in a certain period for longer. Like it's the same thing with our voices as well. If you ever go to like Denver, you ever go to somewhere like Boston, you develop an accent from the area because this is the way people talk down there.
I've already talked about this. I grew up in Mass, right? Now I'm in Indiana, and I had a East Coast accent, and it's all pretty much gone now. But yeah, so I mean, you're right. And that's the thing, right? So when you move and you stay, your voice changes. It changes to you adapt to the environment around you.
Well, Ocean City, Maryland, like we're close to Baltimore, a couple hours away, but we have Baltimore accents, what they consider a Baltimore accent. Instead of saying Tuesday, you say Tuesday. No,
Yeah,
I go to work on Monday. I come back on Tuesday.
So your middle name is Scuttle. Is that it? So Sebastian.
There you go, Captain Aardvark. Good freaking job of the SS dumb.
Dude, that's like a common name, Sebastian. I've heard that name a bunch of times. Sebastian Shaw was the original Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost in the original movies before George Lucas added all the stuff to him. Sebastian Shaw.
I was named after a popular rock band singer that my mom was best friends with.
Sebastian's Stan.
What?
Who?
The singer for Skid Row. I don't know his last name.
Yeah, I think that's man. Skid Row is a awesome band.
Yeah,
too.
That's my mom's best friend. He used to play my Game Boy all the time. Apparently,
shitting me?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't even know the guy. I just know
that's awesome.
He wasted my Game Boy battery one day, so I haven't seen him since. But he's
Sebastian Bach. Sorry.
Yeah, Sebastian Bach. That's his name.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really cool.
Well, but think though, like when it comes to like these human adjustments and all these environmental influences, like this, some people still think that like some parts of psychology that talk about your environmental influences are what is called a pseudo psychology. It doesn't exist. It's like a fantasy concept. But I'm like, how many times have you seen your body be affected by your environment? Like when it gets cold out, your body adjusts. Your body, like it's why when someone lives in a colder climate and they come to a place like, if they're from Alaska, I went to school with a kid that was from Alaska. He came in the middle of December to Maryland, and he was wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt with shorts on. No joke. And we're all wearing giant ass puffy jackets. And he's like, this is the warmest I've been in all my years.
Yeah, dude, this is super simple. I mean, even for me. So this year, I'm just trying to save a little bit of money. So, dude, I have my thermostat. It's 69 degrees right now. I never have my thermostat that low, but I'm keeping it at 69, save a little bit of money,
Why
right?
69?
On some heat. Just to save some money. But dude, it's colder in the house. Shut up. But I have already adjusted to it being 69 degrees in my house all the time. And I'm all right with it. Another thing to point out, the last time I went to Florida, I was 18 years old, or anytime I went to Florida for that matter. And we went in December. So you could totally tell people that are tourists and people that live there, because we were down there in fucking t-shirts and shorts in December. And I think the temperature got down to like 55 or 60. Dude, people that live down there had fucking jackets on because they thought it was like freezing. No joke, because you get so used to the warm weather. And like, to me, dude, 60 degrees, 55, dude, that's like perfect. I love like that weather.
Do you think like, I'm just trying to, is it adaptation? Like, because people say evolution's a myth. Like, do you believe in evolution?
So that's a crazy question for me, man, right? Because I grew up Catholic, right? So I grew up with religion. And of course, I grew up to not believe in evolution, right? So it's crazy. So there's like a side of me that's just like, well, okay, like scientifically, evolution makes like sense. Right. But then there's just like, well, faith wise, if you do believe in something right beyond this world, religion makes sense, I guess, to a certain extent. But then my scientific side goes, okay, we evolved from ape and we evolved. And like, I think I told you the last time I was on your podcast, great thing at the Children's Museum where organisms started in water, right? And we grew and that this is how everybody's here from, the start of life, the fire earth, water earth, right? Ice earth, the evolution of earth. Why aren't we evolving any longer? Right? It's like what happened for it to stop?
I don't think it's stopped. I think it's just hit because I think evolution happens over such a long span of years, like thousands and thousands of years. It's not immediate. Like it's not like the game Spore, where after 5 minutes your guy starts growing eyes and starts growing these types of things. I think it's more of.
What if Planet of the Apes is like I said? I know it's like a movie, but think about it, man. What if apes could talk? And
we come from apes. It's gonna happen.
I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like that movie is not out of like and that's a great movie, man. Charlton Heston is excellent. And
what's the first word Caesar ever said?
Oh shit.
No. What do everybody say nowadays? No.
Yeah, I say no to.
There's a correlation. God, you know it.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, I think speaking of apes and stuff. So like at our zoo here in Indianapolis, we got orangutans past couple years, dude. And like stemming on what you were saying, they're fucking smart, man. So like, dude, of course they have seats and they put on a fucking show and the guy's on the fucking microphone.
What type of monkeys are we talking about?
Like orangutans.
Those are a different species of ape.
Well, fucking monkeys, apes, dude.
I didn't know this until recently, but monkeys, chimpanzees, orangutans, and gorillas, they're all different species of ape.
But they're intelligent. And they share a lot of our DNA.
But ever since I was a kid, I was like, well, they're monkeys. Yeah, but they share a lot of our DNA, but we're more closely related to pigs. Our genetic makeup of our intestines and all of our organs and stuff, the reason why you get a pig valve, a cow valve, that's more closely in relation to our genetics than a monkey is. Our brain structure is a little bit of the same.
Yeah, like I said, how do you explain that?
There's too much. That's what I'm saying. There's too much questionable stuff if it comes down to like, you look at our genetics and all the stuff we've discovered and everything. It's like, wait a minute. Do we actually know some things or are we just scratching the surface on some shit?
Seriously, how does everything function in our body? Like how? Like who is there at the, like how does it all function?
How does your body just keep in all these organs and blood?
Yeah. Like once again, was it fucking what's his name? fucking up in the spaceship, dropping the fucking eggs in the volcano. I can't think of the alien's name for the Scientology. And he was just like, yeah, let's fucking make this skin and we'll put this here and this here and this here and all right, here, let's put it all in this egg and we'll just drop it in a volcano. And
I know we've talked about if you could have zigged when you could have zagged, but like, let's think of a concept. Imagine if apes were like doing people stuff and we were the ones behind bars.
Yeah, that's Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, imagine if we lived in that society. How would we function? Like, what exhibit do you think you would be in?
I mean, you don't have a dog, right? You don't have any pets.
I did, and he died. Thanks for bringing that up.
I apologize. Okay, but I have 3 dogs. I take them out. I take them on walks. I think this thought crosses my mind every single time I walk.
If you were the one on the leash?
Yes. If that was fucking me and I just wanted to go where the fuck I want to go. I see a squirrel and I want to fucking go get that squirrel and my fucking master's yanking on my fucking, look, hey, everybody, I don't use my dogs have collars, but when I take them for walks, I actually put harnesses on them. So when I pull the leash, it actually pulls on a harness.
Yeah, that's very important. A lot of people don't realize that. My dog lived to the age of 14 and we couldn't take her on walks anymore because she's a small dog. So she would constantly tug and she ended up pinching her trachea like a few years before she died. And it made it harder and harder for her to breathe. And that was from all the constant tugging.
So everybody out there that that has dogs, you can take them on walks. Please, use the harnesses, man. It's a lot safer. And I have a German Shepherd, and I have 2 Huskies. So I mean, I have them all in harness when I walk them.
My buddy had a Newfoundland, and he had 2 of them. It was so hard to take them on walks. We just brought a shock collar around, so we just let them without a leash.
I don't like that shit.
You could, dude. I swear to God, I had that shock thing on 10. He didn't feel shit. He did when he was a puppy. Like when we used him, he was probably 150 at a year and a half. He was 150 pounds standing up on his hind legs. I got pictures. I'll send you.
I just
I send my evidence. I do.
I know you do, but it's like, and I know, and look, man, if you want to use the shock collars, or you want to use the collars that have like the spikes on them, when you yank them, it kind of drives like and they're not sharp. But it just
he did not give 2 shits about it. He was a tank, man. I remember I hit him with a snowball one time. I have never seen anything look at me like the damn Sandlot dog. He wanted to take me out fast and hard.
And look, I tell you, man, my German Shepherd would probably benefit from it, because when she sees another dog, dude, she goes batshit crazy, right? So everybody I encounter when I walk my German Shepherd thinks my German Shepherd is vicious and violent and this and that, and she's not. But everybody thinks so, and the dirty looks, and the small dogs, they'll fucking pick up their dog and they'll give me shitty looks. I'm just like, she's just excited. She's just excited. Honestly, all she wants to do is go sniff them. If she can go up and sniff them, she calms down. But people don't give it the chance, because she fucking goes crazy. That
was like that with my buddy's Newfoundland. We take him on walks and stuff, and you come across another dog, immediately he would throw you with him at the dog. Like, he would tug you so hard, because he was, 189 by the time he was 2 years old. So he's a big boy rolling down the street, and he's very intimidating. He was a giant black. He looked like a bear. And, I called him Diesel, and he rolled up to this person that had like a German Shepherd. Immediately, whenever he goes up to any dog, he just goes up and sniffs. The most passive thing ever. He just walks up, like starts sniffing like Beethoven style, and then the dog just started attacking the shit out of him. You know what he did? What? Take a shot in the dark. Take a shot in the dark. What do you think this big 200-pound thing did to this dog when he got bit in the face?
Probably licked him.
He literally rolled down on his belly, and he wanted a belly rub. He rolled down, just sat there. Yeah. And the dog just sat there attacking his face, and he's just sitting there taking it, looking like it's not even hurting him. I'm like, bro. And the guy goes, picks up, grabs his German Shepherd, pulls it back. You need to get your dog on a leash. I'm like, my dog is on a leash, but your dog just basically attacked my dog, because your dog came at my dog first. I'm like, anybody that would have just watched that would have just saw your dog viciously attack my dog for being curious.
Yeah.
So eventually it became to the point we just had to keep him in the fence. Like I would walk with him on the street. I actually have a video on my phone. We have about 2 miles of straight boards. So I'd put a harness on him, grab a leash, and I get on my longboard, and I'm like, go Diesel. Next, he's full on like 30 miles an hour down the boardwalk. I'm just flying. I'm like, guys, get out of the way, because I'll wreck you right now. I'll deck you. I'm like an NFL player running down. Like, it was so much fun too. People would always go, you have him out in the snow? I'm like, because he wants to be out there.
Oh, and my dogs love the snow and being outside.
Newfoundlands are from Canada. So we live in a beach town. So when it's snow outside, I'll sit there. If it's like 10-degree weather, I'm like, Diesel, you got to come inside the house. He's laying all bellied out on top of the snow, like rolling all over it. I'm like, come on inside. And people were calling the cops, getting them to come over. And like at my buddy's house, and I was just staying there watching their dogs and stuff. And they were like, it's animal cruelty. I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I leave the door open for him to come in whenever he wants. He does not want to come in. He will stand out, like he will just lay there. He just doesn't want it because he loves the snow.
Yeah, dogs are built for cold.
Well, he's also water rescue. I mean, I did the mistake of we got him water rescue trained, but I remember me and my buddy were like, dude, let's put him on the kayak. Let's put him on the kayak. So we put him on the kayak and we go out to the middle of our bay. He fucking sees a duck, jumps off the kayak while we're all in it. I mean, he doesn't jump like off to the side. This is a small 2-person kayak. He should not have been on it. He just fit in the middle. We had what was it? the cheer wine, the freaking drink soda. We had that right beside us in a little cooler. So we barely had any room in this kayak to do anything. We're just balancing. He fucking sees this duck. Instead of jumping off to the side, he jumps off the back of the kayak where I am. So he's in front of me. Straight up, 4 paws to the face, clocks me, knocks me straight back off the kayak. Our kayak flips and sinks to the bottom of the bay. But our bay is only waist deep. So when it sinks down, but we happen to be in an area where you couldn't stand, where it was like the one part they dredged out for boats. So we're trying to swim back with this fucking kayak by our toes, like picking it up with our toes, trying to swim with life jackets on. He's freaking already back to shore, rolling around in the sand and shit. We're just sitting here for 2 hours trying to get out of the bay.
That's awesome.
Like, it's those moments, like, at the time I wanted to kill him, but I was having so much fun because, like, you look back on him now and you're like, that was like some great times.
And honestly, dude, it's like their instinct. It's like I mentioned like the squirrels, dude, all 3 of my dad, they go ape shit. Like they see a squirrel. It's just their instincts, man, right? To fucking go chase another animal, you know? And sometimes, dude, I don't give a fuck. I just let my German Shepherd go. She fucking takes off. The squirrel runs up the tree. And then all my German Shepherd's doing is like pawing on the tree. And you're just like, yeah, you're not going to get them.
Well, we look at like animals and we give them, like, we always talk to dogs like with this dumb baby voice or this like they're not intelligent. And it's like, no, they're intelligent in other aspects. Like, animals are pretty fucking smart. Like, what page really humbled me on Instagram was called Nature is Metal. And you get to see things, primal aspects of nature. And like all their pictures and videos is like, before you click this, are you old enough, or are you sure you're not like aware of whatever explicit content? Might be too graphic for some viewers. And then you click it and it's like a freaking lion with its eye that was scratched in a fight, and their eye's just gone. Like, it's just an empty hole. And it's like an up close shot of his face. And he's just like, thugging, like he needs an eye patch or some shit. And
God.
You're like looking at these pictures, and it truly humbles you because, like, there are geese in my local area. They are the smartest, assholest people or creatures ever in this history of the earth. Ron White actually ran for president, part of the Free American Party, whatever it was called. And he wanted to he was like, we shouldn't be building up a wall to keep immigrants out. We need to build a fucking net up between America and Canada to keep them fucking geese from coming over here. And he was right, because these geese will cross the road. So I don't know if I told you this, but for 10 minutes, I watched this woman stop for geese to cross the road one at a time, a line, right? Like a line of ducks. Okay. Cross this road slowly. Finally, the last one's going over. Another car off onto the other side of the freeway honked. All the geese ran back over after 10 minutes of progress across the street, almost made it, ran back. They actually flew over the other way. The woman was like, oh, what the fuck? And just started driving. I was like, that's why you don't stop for them, because they know they can fly, but they look at you with some confidence and they got their head and they just go, you're not going to hit me, motherfucker. And they start walking across the street. And I'm like, he's right. He's right.
And you don't fuck with those geese. I have a funny story, man. Well, it's not funny. It actually happened to my son. We were walking, and this happened like a couple years ago, but we were walking into the movies, and there was like a couple of them on the sidewalk as we were walking in. And yeah, about the flying, this motherfucker jumped, flew, and was like right over my son's like back of his neck, hissing and shit. That fucking freaked
They're so aggressive.
Freaked him out. Yeah, it freaked him out like so bad.
In my community, we have a pond, and they all are in the pond. And I swear, you get near the pond, you go and get near them. My cousin was like, "I'm gonna go like get a close picture of this like geese so I can put on my Instagram." No, good fucking luck, bro. They're vicious. He goes, "No, they're not. Like, I'm bigger than this thing." I'm like, "Just wait." He starts running because the thing is flying. I'm going,
yeah.
I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah. It's funny, man. My work, my job, when I do go into the office, the building, they have like fake wolves around the building to keep the geese away from the building.
People keep fake deer out on their property sometimes when they go hunting to try and allure animals to them.
Oh, so that's why they have the fake deers in their yard.
Yeah. It's to attract animals or do something kind of like a lot of people do it for decoration, like if they get a stone statue or something. But when you see decoys out on like hunting properties, it's to bring other creatures into the area.
Oh yeah, I got a buddy, the guy that I haven't done the band in a while since I've been working so much, but the guy I play music with, dude, he hunts with a shotgun, with a bow and arrow. It's actually pretty cool, man. Like that's fucking right Indian shit back in the day. Like he'll go out and he'll hunt deer, bow and arrow. So, and that takes a lot of fucking skill.
That's probably one of the hardest things to kill something with, not a crossbow, but an actual pullback bow and arrow.
Yes.
The amount of force that goes behind it, like just pulling it back.
And the way he explained it to me is you have to get a precise like heart shot. I mean, it's
or the animal suffers.
It pains me saying it. Yes, because if you hit it anywhere else, yes, it might bleed to death, but it probably won't. And it's probably going to be in a lot of pain. And because if you miss it, the fucking deer is just going to take off. Yeah. And like I said, sometimes if you get it close, like he said, it will eventually drop. Right. But actually, he said the turkey, because he does turkey and deer. The turkey hunting actually is harder than the deer hunting. He said the slightest movement of your hand, anything, the turkeys just they'll fucking go. So it's just really, I mean, I wouldn't do that shit at all. Like I don't believe in, I don't say I don't believe in it. I personally wouldn't do it. I fucking hate nature, number one.
At one point in the history of America, a president tried to make the turkey our nation's symbol.
What?
Yeah. So you know how we have the bald eagle?
It's bald eagle. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at one point we actually wanted to make it the turkey.
Who wanted to make it the turkey?
Couldn't remember if it was JFK or if it was Roosevelt that wanted to do that.
Talk about JFK conspiracies, man.
I just talked about this the other day, dude.
That grassy knoll.
It's not really grassy. I just want to question one thing for people to think about. There were 500 documents of JFK's that was leaked to the media in 2017 that Trump had released, but Trump kept 50 of those 500 for himself. So what was on the 50 that we didn't get?
Interesting. The guy at the bushes, or the fence, right? It was, dude, ages ago, I watched documentaries on it. And there was like the fence, the bushes, like where they think the second shooter was, right?
No one brings up the main question though. Like, have you actually seen the video that was released?
I don't know about a video, but I've seen plenty of documentaries. And like I said, with the gun that he had, it wasn't like possible. Like they did it. Like it wasn't possible for him to get off that many shots in the time. Right.
Well, listen,
the shots got how many shots?
If you watched the video,
what video?
There's a video of JFK getting shot. The actual someone was recording.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. You see how the first bullet goes through his neck?
Yeah.
Okay. That was one shot from the back. All right. So now listen to this. At any point you get shot with a rifle in the back or in the front, your body moves in the direction the bullet was heading towards. So he would have lunged forward, correct? He would have went head first into his lap because he would have got shot in the throat. He would have went forward.
Yeah.
From the centrifugal force, whatever you want to call it. You know why when he got shot in the neck, he stayed in an upright position?
Why?
Because I think it was 3 months before his presidential speech and that trip that he did, his planned route, he had to go to the doctors. That was forced on him by people in his office because he had a known back problem, and they gave him a back brace. That back brace kept him in an upright position for the bullet to literally go through his neck and the shooter to keep on fucking shooting.
Okay, so I didn't know. Yeah, so I don't remember anything.
I have the freaking document with all the facts.
How do you argue about taking as many shots fired compared to the time frame that the shots were fired?
I'm not saying there's not multiple shooters.
Okay,
I don't know the whole logistics behind that.
Well, but whatever. But that's like always been the conspiracy that there was a second shooter, right?
My conspiracy is the fact that 6 months before JFK got assassinated and his route was changed, all that shit, because it was supposed to be a faster way to him to get to his meeting or whatever, so he can do his debate or he can do his whatever signing in his public, whatever view, show everybody wants to be the president. Before that happened, he came out with a speech that everyone remembers so damn thoroughly but they only remember the quick little tidbit at the ending, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. Well, before that, if you watch the full speech, he goes, do I believe there is a shadow society? No. But if there is, I will do my damnedest to make sure we will expose a government that is corrupting and treating us like puppets, and something on those lines. That's, a paraphrase, obviously. But he mentioned shadow society. He mentioned puppet control. He mentioned these specific words. And 6 months later, he gets assassinated and no one's questioning that one.
So you're saying the government took him out?
I'm saying that, is that a possibility? Yeah.
Right. Like the government is responsible for 9/11. No, that's where we're going, right? You're telling me the government.
I don't know too much about, because I haven't really read into 9/11 that much.
Well, there's tons of 9/11 conspiracies saying that the government set it all up.
Well, I think with 9/11, I think the only thing that really seemed like he came bad out of it was the Patriot Act, on the fact that now what it's supposed to be known as, I guess, objective towards terrorism. All the titles, the episode I just posted, we literally talked about the Patriot Act and what's wrong with it. It's all better basis for government security, basically. Them to use your cameras, them to use your system to get information, all this type of shit. We literally just gave them our okay to watch us even thoroughly.
Dude, come on. What's this right here?
That's what I'm saying.
What's this right here? This is spying, dude. No matter what action, I'm not everybody listening. I'm holding up my cell phone. No matter what action we take on our cell phone, right? Somebody's watching. Somebody's documenting. Because every time you go and do something different, for some reason you get a message saying, "Hey, Mike, what about this that you looked at yesterday?" What? Like, damn, right?
Well, see, the thing is, that's what they do now. See, the main thing with the Patriot Act, without repeating what I already said in the episode that I posted, was
it's Big Brother, man.
It's that's the whole idea. But it's a watchful eye, which was meant in good intentions with the government. But see, now the government is now run by a little bit of a different system. Most of their technology, all these bases, have a common link towards it, much like how we have a common link to it as well. Google, all these massive corporations that are now dominating the market, the government is, a lot of their technology is run by sources of this sort. So now that means when you're giving open access to the government to watch you, to do all these types of things, you're also giving access to Google. You're also giving Google to be able to access your private information to find out how they can advertise with you better and build up a better infrastructure as a company. So now the whole Patriot Act gets a little bit skewed when it comes to their way of displaying it now. See, if you start to, like I said, this is what we talked about. If you start questioning something very, very, like, a lot, and you start bringing up a lot of questions to it, you start wondering and finding a lot of more flaws into it. But we live in a matrix society because nobody ever wants to question this shit. They just want shit to work out the way it works out and not have any problems happen in their life. But if you decide to actually start questioning stuff, you start unraveling the code.
Well, you know what I have a question about? It's really, really concerning to me. Why in the fuck do you chew a piece of gum that's fucking like the size of a fucking golf ball that comes out of a fucking twist quarter machine? Look, everybody. He sends me a fucking picture today of this fucking, he's like, "Hey man, I told you I chewed some fucking hard ass gum." Yeah, it's a fucking golf ball, hard size, big ass gum out of a fucking quarter machine. And come on, tell everybody what happened.
Hold on, listen,
Robbie, tell everybody what happened.
Listen.
No, tell everybody what happened.
That all comes from my gum story, the last episode we did. But listen, I bought this piece. I was telling you, telling the truth. You think I was bullshitting you? I bought this piece, and the woman looks at me and goes, like the greeter at the door, because now they have greeters at my Walmart. She goes, "That's been in our machine for a couple of years now. I wouldn't eat that." And I'm like, "I know, they're hard as a fucking rock." And I fucking bit into that in front of her, like you bite an apple and like bite an apple and toss it behind your back. Fucking bit into it, and all you hear is like sound of porcelain cracking. And I'm like,
now you gotta go to the fucking dentist.
My mouth was all like still open, like holding on to the thing. I'm like, and she's like, "How did that feel?" And I'm just like, like in my mouth, I just took it out, and I was like, That's what you do. You see, it's like a squirrel in a nut. He bites it first, then he breaks it with his hands. That's what I did. I broke it first. and did it like that and walked out like a fucking OG.
Your fucking quarter machine piece of gum that's the
I
size
was
of
walking down the
my
dental
God.
aisle in Walmart chewing that thing. All the people in the pharmacy were looking at me like, God damn, he's like chewing 30 pieces of gum. I'm like, damn right, 75 cents.
Once my response was, just looking at this picture, my TMJ is going ape shit. And yeah, if anybody out there, all the listeners, if they have a TMJ, you feel my pain, because having a TMJ sucks.
What's a TMJ?
Man, you get like lockjaw. I basically grind my teeth at night when I sleep. My dentist goes ape shit, because since I don't wear a mouth guard, I'm supposed to wear a mouth guard at night so I don't grind. So when you grind your teeth, my teeth are just like grinding together, and it's actually causing my teeth to wear down in the back. And they're just like, Mike, you got to wear a mouth guard. And then you can get severe pain from your jaw that feels like a fucking ear infection. And the only reason I found this out several years ago was I thought I had an ear infection. I went to the doctor, and they're just like, your ears look fine. And they were just like, they were just like, where's the pain come from? I'm like, well, it's up here. And they're just like, that could be coming from your jaw. And I was like, what? And they're like, you could have a TMJ. And then I went to the dentist, and yeah, I have a TMJ. My daughter has it. I have it. It fucking sucks balls, because your jaw will just start hurting. It can hurt from excessive chewing. That's why I really don't chew gum a lot anymore. Carrots and like anything you gotta really chomp on, and like that could really affect it. It could cause it to get painful. Usually it doesn't bother me, but when it does, it fucking hurts like really bad. And I fucking talk a lot, you know that. So
it's crazy because I haven't been to the dentist in like since I was like,
come on, man.
8.
You didn't tell me you don't believe in the dentist, like you don't believe in the fucking doctor.
I don't have medical insurance, so
Robbie, I know, like you gotta get fucking I know you don't.
I do, dude. I signed up. It doesn't roll in until January though,
right.
But it's only happened because I had like a thing. I was like, all right, I'm seriously, it's been a week. I haven't gone to the bathroom. I feel like there's a knife in my stomach. And I was like, I need to get like something looked at, like whatever. And so hopefully that gets enrolled. I was like, is there any way I can go now? And then you guys cover me later? They're like, no, you got to wait till January.
It doesn't work like that, man.
I'm like, damn, well, so what do I do? They're like, don't get hurt until January. I'm like, you just put a jinx on me, you bastard. It's crazy though, because like, I had my wisdom teeth come in, and I had them come in on my right side, and I walked into work, like my mouth was all like, looked like I was chewing one of those giant wads of gum.
Yeah.
And like everyone's like, what's wrong with your mouth? Did you get hit in the face at like a bar? Because I'm like in my 20s, so they always assume like if I get hurt something at a bar, and I'm like, I don't even drink. And they were like, yeah, what is that? And I'm like, I think my wisdom teeth are coming in. Like, oh, you need to get that taken care of right now. It's going to be a big pain. It's going to be like this. I'm like, I'll be okay. Fucking slept it off. It was gone the next day.
Wisdom teeth, they'll come back to haunt you, my friend.
Well, look, my mom kept hers. So she just kept that on my head. She's like, if it starts hurting really bad, you start getting headaches, let me know. But you might be able to keep yours. And my mouth's already, like my front teeth, on my left side, so I don't ever show my mouth a lot. My left side shifted forward, and my right side is shifted back. So
because there's just extra teeth in the very back. See what happened?
I've had that since I was a child. I've always had a shifted mouth.
Oh, well, you're a shifty guy. So
that's what I do. I walk with a black hoodie at night, wearing shorts in 20-degree weather,
running down the road,
fucking 10 miles. I got home. First thing I did was I went right in the bathroom.
It took a shit.
No. I took the longest piss because for some reason there's no trees to go behind.
There's no trees to go behind.
So I had to, everybody's house. I can't just like knock on a neighbor's door, because then every 5 minutes I'd have to stop like every quarter of a mile. Excuse me, can I use your bathroom? Where's your mom, kids? Like, I don't know.
It's so funny. I mean, my son doesn't listen to this podcast, but yeah, man, like, dude, like, it's so funny, dude. My son comes home, because I work from home pretty much every day, and he'll come home from school, dude, and he'll fucking shit. When I'm just like, so one day I was like, hey, man, I was just like, you ever like go to the bathroom at school? He's like, I can't shit at school.
That's what a lot of people do. My buddy would always wait till he got home. He's like, we're like in the car, like, hey, you want to go to Chick-fil-A? Because that's what we did like religiously on our senior year. We always went to Chick-fil-A afterwards, got a spicy chicken, French fries, and a chocolate milkshake, no cherry. Bam.
All right.
Well, we did that every single day after school. And freaking dude, he would be like, I can't, I have to go home. I'm like, why? He's like, I have to shit. I'm like, go to at school. He's like, you know how awkward it is? And I'm like, dude, I do it all the time. Yeah, you get the occasional asshole that walks in like, man, someone's taking a shit in here. I'm like, damn right. That's why there's stalls in here. You smell my shit. Good for you.
You're in a bathroom. I mean, that's what you go in there to do.
I had to start carrying Lysol and stuff at work because like, dude, no, I swear to you. All right. So funny story. This happened 2 days ago. I'm at work. We're outside. It's 30-mile-an-hour winds and it's 20 degrees out. So we're all like trying to hide from the cold, like while we're putting linen out by the truck to get it all picked up. And I'm like, so am I good to go now that I've helped with linen? Like, yeah, you can roll. There's nothing here. There's like 5 people here. We're good to go. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, and I farted. And I was like, they're not going to smell it at all. He's smoking a cigarette, hiding behind like this part where this air won't get to him, this cold ass air. He literally fucking goes, holy shit, walks out into the cold and goes out and deals with that wind. Then my thing, I'm like, did you smell that? And he goes, I can't believe that. And this one other dude smoking a cigarette, I'm like, you're still standing there and you smell it? And he's like, dude, nice. And goes inside. And I'm like, that's the fun. And I literally got on the radio. I was like, did you like that? And then he goes, I can't believe that. Like, that is distinct. Like, that is the wrong. I'm like, yeah, I've been asleep in my house at 2:00 in the morning and farted in like my blanket. And I gave myself a Dutch oven. I woke up in the morning fucking, dude, I was like, oh, like you ever have those where you're like, it doesn't even smell? You're like, oh, that didn't smell. It, you know, silent, didn't smell. And dude, I woke up in the morning after I opened up my cocoon that I do in with my blanket when it's cold out. And freaking, I was hit with a wave that would have took me right back out, dude. I've had people wake me up in my house before and tell me to go outside. I'm like, it's 1:00 in the morning. And they're like, I don't care.
Future Robbie girlfriends, make sure you're listening right now.
That's what I told all my exes. I said, hey, I am okay if you fart. Like, it's fine with that. But just know, if you open up that door, you're doing it for me as well.
I was about to say, when you can find the one that can tolerate your farts, it's a keeper.
I remember, see, it's funny because my supervisor at work never believed me when I said it was that bad. And I told him, like, I would randomly, he'd be telling me to like do something. He'd be like, hey, can you please do this? Or can you like try and help me out with this? And I'm like, yeah, give me a minute. And I'll walk outside and then I'll come back in like a minute later. He's like, what did you just go do? I was like, I had to relieve some gas. He's like, okay. And he was like, but he was actually sitting there, but he never believed me. And I told him I'm lactose sensitive. So this day, 2 days ago at work, we had pizza. So I thought I got one slice of pizza. I decided, hey, I'm going to do this and I'll go burn 1,600 calories at the gym or something. Yeah. I grabbed the pizza and it was supposed to be, the cheese was supposed to be pasta sauce. It was supposed to be the white Alfredo. They did it like a vegetarian style. And, or it was some type of sauce or something that's supposed to be like for vegetable goers or something. So I was like, oh, I'll eat this. It's better than cheese, knowing that my stomach can't handle it. And I freaking ate it, dude. And the next thing I know, I told him, I was like, did you smell that? And he goes, holy shit, and walks all the way out into the cold, dude. Freaking winter is coming. Game of Thrones up, dude. He texted me when I got home. He's like, I can't believe that. And I'm like, that's why I carry Lysol in my pocket at work. I have a little pocket one of those sprays.
I'm telling you, man, we need to come up with an invention, man. Like we can like put in your fucking underwear or something, right? So when you fucking fart, like, right, it like smells like roses.
Or just sell my stuff to the government. Bottle it. You know,
fucking bottle it up.
Have you ever tried that before? Like fart in a jar and try and mail it? I farted in a jar one time. I smelled it and I fucking like almost threw up.
So it reminds me of Jackass. So have you seen all those Jackass movies? So there's the one where they're farting and he's got like the tube and the fucking
and he's
mask
throwing
over
up.
his face.
Yeah.
And he's just fucking farting and shitting and he's like puking like inside the mat. Oh my God. Yeah, that's just, he goes into the fucking store and they got a row of toilets. He goes in there and fucking shits in one of the toilets.
Well, I was watching this podcast that this guy, his name is Drew Pinsky. I think his name is Drew Pininsky. He's like a medical professional. He used to do these things called Dateline or Loveline connection.
Oh, with Dr. Drew.
Yeah, Dr. Drew. Yeah. So he actually has a podcast called Dr. Drew. It's called After Dark with Dr. Drew. And it's like all these like, they have famous comedians on there, but they talk about like their medical, like just stuff. And this one dude's showing them this guy that's swimming in like nothing but sewage feces. Like he's just wearing like one of those skin caps for his hair, but he's swimming in it and then eating it too. Like, and it's like it was like a fetish though. But he was talking about like the people that like the smell of farts and that like are like aroused by it, like the fetish. He goes, there's actually a health benefit because what your body is releasing is known as magnesium sulfate or something, and it's very corrosive to your body. It's what happens is when you relieve gas, it's actually healthy for you because it's your body flushing out toxins.
Anything your body releases is good for you, right? So like I like what I tell people is, you know, I'm sick less and I'm, you know, this one because I exercise more. And like, yeah, man, like when I'm on the treadmill and it takes about 7 to 8 minutes and then I start sweating, and when I get to 15, I'm fucking drenched. And like sometimes like it's stupid, but I think to myself, I'm just like getting all the toxins out of my body, baby. Yeah,
that's
man.
Like,
what
it is.
No, like anything that comes out is good.
Look, the first 2 weeks I went to the gym, I sweated nothing but spicy nacho Doritos to the point I can never have a Dorito again. So I know how it is. I drank a bottle of Fireball and I went to the gym for the next 2 days after that. I sweated nothing but cinnamon. Now I can't freaking stand cinnamon.
Look, man, I swear by exercise, and like I wasn't that guy, right? I'm skinny. I've always been skinny my entire life. I've always been toothpick skinny. But like, man, like I swear by exercising, get all the toxins out, get more healthier, eat a little better. I'm telling you, man, like you will feel so much better. You know, even if you have restrictions, right, where you can't jog, because I jog, right, when I get on the treadmill, like I don't walk or speed walk. I'm jogging for, 45, 50 minutes straight. So, I mean, but if you can just get out there and walk or do whatever, I'm telling you, man, but like, yeah, sweating, I'm telling you, dude, like sweating is key, and getting your heart rate, your heart level raised to get it pumping. All that stuff like helps you. So, yeah, man, it's good for your body to get your blood going, get your blood moving, get the toxins out, and eat some fucking Dunkin' Donuts.
No, Krispy donuts Kreme. Are bad. You don't want to be filled with that jelly. You don't want to be with the savage that sucks the jelly out of them, dude. I'm telling you. We're all filled with our own jelly. Some of it's a little bit more toxic than others.
Shit. People are filled with shit, man, is what it is, man.
You're quoting my grandfather.
Well, if the boot fits, right?
So should I just call this the saga of flatulence?
Well, fuck, man. We had like a 20-minute conversation about fucking farts.
That's how this podcast goes, damn it. Surprisingly, the last couple I've recorded, we've brought this concept up. So
yeah, hey man, you already know, dude. We can sit here and talk about anything. So I mean, shit. We've barely, we've talked about a million things, and we still have a million more things to talk about. Hell yeah, Sebastian.
Damn you.
I'm telling you, man.
Getting it out there to the government so they can track me more, so I can't go Jack Reacher on them.
Hey, like I said, from a Star Wars fan perspective, Sebastian Shaw was the original Anakin Skywalker Force Ghost in Return of the Jedi. So there you go. There you go.
Wait, what?
Wait. Okay, so the original Star Wars version. So when the movies originally came out in 77 and 80 and 83, right? Those are the original versions of the films. Then in the 90s, George Lucas released the special editions where he changed things and added things to the movies. And then after Revenge, the ones you've seen, right? You've seen episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. After Revenge of the Sith came out, he added more things to the Blu-ray release of the movies. So when you watch the Blu-ray versions, Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost at the end is Hayden Christensen from episodes 2 and 3. But if you watch the original versions of Star Wars back in the 80s and 90s, it's actually an old guy, and the actor's name is Sebastian Shaw, who played the old Force Ghost Anakin Skywalker when Luke's looking at the ghosts at the end of Return of the Jedi. Yeah.
Why couldn't they just name me Beowulf? Who fucks with Beowulf?
You don't want to know why they changed it? You want to know why they changed it? Because and George, since he did the prequels, he believes, and and this kind of makes sense, that Anakin Skywalker dies in episode 3 when he becomes Darth Vader. So hence, when Darth Vader dies in Return of the Jedi, he actually doesn't die as Darth Vader, right? Because Luke turns him to the light side. So when he dies, he's Anakin Skywalker again. So when he force projects himself as Anakin Skywalker, it's actually at the moment of his death, which was in episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, when he looked like a young Anakin Skywalker. There you go.
Don't you have family to attend to?
You already know, man. I can sit here and talk all day Star Wars.
I know. So we can always talk, me and you. It just goes on and on and on.
Goes on and 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 on. Just like Dick Time and Lando.
Let's do a fart time with Lando.
Fart time with Lando.
Who's got the biggest rip? Who's got the biggest rip? Well, Lando, I'm going to give you here a second to be able to plug where people can find your awesome content on the Sithtalkers.
So you can find it, Sithtalkers, a Star Wars podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Stitcher, all podcast platforms. Check us out. We are a Star Wars podcast, not your traditional Star Wars podcast. We love to try to put a lot of humor in it with segments like Dick Time with Lando. So check us out. If you're in the Star Wars, if you're not in the Star Wars, hey, check out tomorrow's episode that drops tomorrow. You know why? Because Robbie, Keeping It Real Kenobi, he is my special guest host because my brother had a situation to deal with, and I got with Robbie, and it's just me and him doing the podcast. So there you go. Check it out.
It'll be today's episode because I'm posting this one tomorrow.
Well, then, because I'm posting Sithtalkers tomorrow.
Yeah, so it'll go up on the same days.
Yeah, well, mine will go tomorrow night because I always post it Sunday
Mine
night.
goes tomorrow night as well. So maybe they come out at the same time. Should we schedule it that way?
8 p.m. is when I drop Sithtalkers.
I like to drop my deuces around 6.
He's going back to your body like you always fucking shit at the same time.
Everything comes down to poop. From the top of your head to the bottom.
Talking about routine, right? Routine. You shit at the same time every day.
So look, I have a religious time. I always go to the bathroom at 2:30 in the morning.
See?
So when I ate seafood dinner, when I went out to eat with my grandfather, I brought this concept of, because I brought up the Baltimore incident where literally this is how it went. I was like, I don't want to bring this up if you forgot. Remember, I texted you this. I said, I don't want to bring this up if you forgot, but remember the time we were at a Ravens game and he stops me, he goes, when you ship between 2 parked cars? I go, yes. And he goes, that was some funny shit. I'm like, it literally was. And then like, we're laughing about it. And I'm like, that wasn't awkward for you at all? He goes, no. He goes, I was just happy I had toilet paper in my car. I never thought I'd ever use it. And I'm like, right. That was a perfect scenario. He goes, your dad was freaking out most of all. I was like, yeah, he was really upset. I just looked at your father and was like, people got to take a shit. Like, what do you expect? And I'm like, so wait a minute. I have a specific time I go to the bathroom. Do you have a specific time? He goes, oh my God, yes. And my grandmom looks over and goes, it's at 5 a.m. every day. And he doesn't just get up and slow walk there. He gets up and fucking hurries his ass there. And I'm like, that's just like me, where like I wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and I bolt into the bathroom and people start texting me, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, I'm taking a shit. And he goes, yeah, that's a Robertson characteristic. I was like, damn. I was like, that's a really weird trait to have, but I'm glad I have that connection with you. I always wondered where it come from. And I said, it comes down to our basic genetics.
It's genetics.
Yeah, right. We're wrapping it around to genetics again.
You get your dad's hair and your mom's eyes and this and that. And you get
my grandpa's bowel system.
Get your shit from your grandfather.
You know what the real name to that famous cartoon with the last name Robertson?
What?
Hey.
Oh, Fat Albert.
That's they're called the Robertsons.
I don't even remember that. See, what I remember as a kid is Bill Cosby doing picture phases, the picture phases, do.
You know what's really weird is he bought the Little Rascals and he made it so they don't show it anymore. Like,
really? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where it was like Bill Cosby and like he had this marker and like it do, and it was, dude, it only happened during Fat Albert episodes.
Yeah. Well, it's really weird that you won't be able to see like a Little Rascals or anything like that anymore unless you own the tapes for it, because he took it all off. Like he bought everything last thing from it.
Bill Cosby?
Yeah, because he's the one that produced that show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He produced the Little Rascals, produced Fat Albert, like all that old stuff that you don't see anymore. He owns all the rights to it, so they're not allowed to play it.
Man, that's what a dick move.
That was a deep thing. It was just like something he created and he decided to take it away.
That's almost as bad as Michael Jackson stealing like all the Beatles songs right from under Paul McCartney when he needed to rebuy the rights.
Go to 2 minutes and 38 seconds into the original track of the Beatles. I think it's Hey Jude. You get to hear a slip up of John. It's John Lennon or either Paul McCartney. They miss a note on one of their, like in the song, and they're still singing. It's right before he goes, hey, right when he says, hey, at the beginning of Hey Jude in that little break, you hear John Lennon go, fucking hell, or they think it's bloody hell. But if you listen to it and stop it, there's a video on YouTube that slow-mos it for you. In the original released recording, there's him saying that, and it was on their album, except when you go to the new remastered stuff, it's not on there.
It's not okay. I was gonna say, dude, I've listened to that song like a million times.
Look it up when we get done with this podcast. It's gonna blow your freaking mind, dude. Look up the video where it shows it and breaks it down for you, where the guy slows it down. You hear him literally go, oh, bloody hell.
There's videos out there of like Paul McCartney like singing out of tune and shit that will blow your mind. Because right, what the best singers in the world, and then like you go and you find videos of him being at dude, everybody's human.
What do you expect though? They're tripping on acid.
Oh man, the Sgt. Pepper's A Magical Mystery Tour and the White Album.
You don't start thinking of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds or An Octopus's Garden without drugs being involved. Unless you're a Bob Ross and you just can paint.
Hey, let me put a nice little tree right here. Nice little stormtrooper.
Can you believe he never like sold any of his art?
It's crazy. That's an artist, man. Like pure and pure, right? I'm not doing it for profit.
Trees. I have no clue who Bob Ross is, to be honest with you. I just know he's that painter guy, but I had no idea of any of his work. He has documentaries on Netflix. I honestly rather watch that than the new Star Wars.
Yeah, the only reason I'm really super familiar with him because like on Sesame Street, like when I was a kid, you watched Sesame Street on PBS. Dude, he was like on PBS, and like it would go from like Mr. Rogers to Sesame Street to this fucking dude painting fucking trees and fucking mountains and shit. And like you don't change the channel, you're like, whoa, that's really cool. So it is really cool.
It's all about
that's all we had. We didn't have like fucking 1,000 cartoons like at our fingertips. No, dude, I had Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers, and that's it. And like old school Spider-Man, Transformers, G.I. Joe shit when I was younger. Bugs Bunny. Looney Tunes was like the top thing when I was a kid.
Yeah, I love Looney Tunes. That's why I stayed sick from school all the time. I just want to watch Looney Tunes.
Fucking A, man. Yeah.
It's always
a beat. That's all, folks.
That is all, folks.